taking the full tour of Dublin today on one of these hop-on, hop-off buses. The kids love riding around in double-decker buses, and we get to see all the sights. And with Dublin's eclectic mix of old Irish history and modern culture, there's plenty to interest the whole family. From castles and historic jails to shopping and huge parks in
Travel Kids Ireland!
travel. Who says it can't be done with the kids? Well, many have, and we're here to prove otherwise. Here's our story.
Sometime after college and before being grown-ups, we, that's me,
And that's me.
left it all behind for 1 year to see the world. With a one-way ticket in hand, we had a grand adventure across 35 countries.
Fast forward 5 years, a house payment, real jobs, and a different sort of adventure called parenthood. With these guys,
That's me. I'm Nathan and I'm 7. That's me. I'm Janice and I'm 5.
Now we're off again to share our adventures with you as we discover the wonders of the world, the wonders of nature, the wonders of parenthood, and sometimes wonder, what were we thinking in Travel with Kids? In this episode of Travel with Kids, join us as we explore the many sides of Dublin, learning history with visits to Dublin Castle and Kilmainham Jail, to learn about the struggle for independence, and relaxing in modern pubs in the cosmopolitan neighborhoods of Grafton Street and Temple Bar. Plus, hear about this big fish story.
There's a big giant fish right here.
Get hoppy at the Guinness factory, and find out what the boys are trying to say here.
Once the centre of medieval Ireland, Dublin is moving forward as fast as technology will allow. Historic sites like the Dublin Castle and Christchurch Cathedral sit like reminders of times gone by amongst pedestrian areas filled with modern restaurants, shops, street artists and buskers.
we found a cheap flight from England to Dublin. Europe has several low-cost carriers like Ryanair and EasyJet, but be sure to check for those hidden fees. The ticket price was under £1, but with taxes and baggage charges, we paid about £30 sterling. Yep. So after collecting our luggage, Thank you. We board the airport shuttle and head for our hotel.
We chose a Bewley's Ballsbridge Hotel. It's close to a village with authentic restaurants and shops, and it's close to a bus stop, so we can head to the city center. And that's just where we're headed, to learn a bit about Dublin's history.
We're on a double-decker bus. It has 2 levels.
The kids enjoy the bus ride into town, pointing out funny shop names. Check that one out. And Dublin's famous colorful doors.
The bus drops us at O'Connell Street, one of the main thoroughfares in Dublin. The street is packed with shops and fast food restaurants. Just up the street on the River Liffey, life is hopping. After watching the boats for a few minutes, we cross the bridge and head for Trinity College.
Founded in 1592 by Queen Elizabeth I, Trinity College is a milestone of education in Ireland. Set in over 40 acres, the beautiful 18th and 19th century college buildings are arranged around open squares and grass lawns.
After checking the map, we head past the chapel, through Parliament Square, where the Campanile soars almost 100 feet tall and is surrounded by old statues, to the old library that houses one of the oldest books in the world.
Let's say the book of Kells.
While Nathan plays with his toys on the library steps, I go inside to check on the exhibit.
Dating from the 9th century, the Book of Kells is an illuminated manuscript containing 4 of the Gospels of the New Testament of the Bible, written in Latin and transcribed by Celtic monks.
Sounds interesting to me, but the kids are more interested in old castles than old books. So we're going to head down the street to Dublin Castle.
On the sidewalk just outside the college, an artist starts a colorful painting. The kids love watching him work. We'll have to check back later to see what progress he's made. Across the street is the Bank of Ireland building. The building was originally designed in 1729. It seems there's a bit of history at every turn in this city, but the building perhaps with the most history around here is the Dublin Castle.
Originally built by order of King John in 1204, The Norman castle was used for defence of the city and treasury. During the British rule, Dublin Castle was the centre of resistance for the nationalist movement and was used as the official residence of the English dignitaries.
The huge stone castle rises up into the clouds above us. The crenellated roof and round towers get the kids excited about a real castle.
Yay, perfect timing! As we step through the front doors, a tour is just getting ready to leave. The inside of the castle is just as lavish and real castle looking as the outside. Tall ceilings, intricately carved woodwork, gold accents. The kids are impressed by the royalty factor, and Seamus is thrilled to find his name on a sign in the first room.
Fitzallen Howard was Catholic, yeah. There was, although strange.
The kids do a good job of listening as they wiggle and giggle around a bit, trying to listen to the guide who tells us about all the English guys who lived here.
No, there was a lot of Irish Catholics, a lot of Anglo-Irish, yeah.
The struggle for Irish independence and the important Irish leaders who have made Ireland what it is today. It's hard for any of us to grasp, so let's get a bit more information so we really understand the historical significance.
First evidence of humans in Ireland dates back over 10,000 years ago. After the last ice age, humans arrived by land bridge from England and soon planted themselves and crops, establishing little communities and creating burial sites like the huge passage graves at Newgrange, just north of Dublin. 3,000 years later, the Celts arrived from Eastern Europe. The Celts ruled for over 1,000 years, bringing with them the language, arts and culture that still define Ireland today. About 300 AD, Christianity arrived in Ireland, and with the work of St. Patrick, grew rapidly. During this time, many manuscripts were created, including the famous Book of Kells, produced by Celtic monks. In the 9th century, the Vikings invaded. Then came the Normans, who brought with them English rule, and the start of a centuries-long battle for power. And then entered Oliver Cromwell, who began destroying all the castles and churches. The power struggle between the Catholics and the Protestants for the English throne came to Ireland in the late 17th century, in the form of an exiled James II and the Protestant William of Orange, sitting King of England. The Protestants won and passed laws restricting the freedoms and rights of Catholics. In the late 18th century, the United Irishmen formed to bring about change in Ireland, and the Protestants created what would become the Orange Order to fight this Catholic influence. Slow change began to take hold, but then came the potato famine. After years of conflict, in 1914, Ireland was granted home rule, but it was put on hold because of World War I. In 1916, Irish men and women marched into Dublin, took control of key locations in the city, and read a Declaration of Independence. They were arrested by British troops, creating popularity for the independence movement. This led to years of war between the Irish Republican Army and those serving the British Crown. In 1921, Michael Collins negotiated a peace treaty which gave independence to 26 of Ireland's 32 counties, but left Northern Ireland out of the deal, creating a battle point for decades to come.
Well, that history lesson really helps put the tour here at Dublin Castle into context. I know how powerful it is when the guide tells us that one room held James Connolly, one of the architects of the 1916 Easter Rising during the rebellion, before he was sent off to Kilmainham jail.
In the throne room, the kids wish to be kings as they pose in front of the throne, surrounded by lavish gilded gold design. The tour then heads outside and across the main square to what the kids call a dungeon. It's actually the remains of a Viking fort built in the 1200s. As we descend below ground, we are entranced by the old crumbling walls and excavations all around. Climbing over rocks, peering into cracks, the tour ends at the unescapable gift shop.
Well, it's getting to evening and time to find dinner. Just down the road from Dublin Castle is the lively area of Temple Bar. Narrow cobblestone streets packed with cafes and pubs. Traditional Irish music can be heard drifting through the streets. And limbo music. Wait a minute, limbo dancers? Well, yes. Because of its rapidly growing economy, Ireland today has a fresh mix of ethnic communities. Street buskers in Temple Bar often include performances set to reggae music or African drums.
The kids really enjoy watching the limbo dancer. How low can you go? He can go amazingly low, but that low? No way! Is he gonna make it? Incredible! I don't think Seamus could even get under that crawling on his belly. Okay, time for a quick bite to eat, then back to the hotel.
Today we're taking the kids on a hop-on, hop-off tour of Dublin. With this city bus pass and the Dublin Pass, we can see all the sights. The Dublin Pass gets us free admission to lots of Dublin sights. Plus, we get to skip the lines in many places. There's lots to see, so we've got to plan out our time if we want to get it all in.
Taking time to check out the map and group together attractions you want to see helps save time. You don't want to be backtracking all through town.
First we're here and we're going down like this, and then our first stop is number 6, the Natural History Museum.
Dublin's Natural History Museum opened in 1857 and has a large collection of animals spanning decades of naturalist research. Its 10,000 exhibits range from giant insects and sea creatures to African mammals and extinct species like Irish giant elk.
Really? It's just like a double-decker bus, but it's a double-decker house.
With 2 floors filled with displays, the kids are thrilled to start exploring. Case after case, small forest creatures
These bunny stuff.
and sea animals,
There's a big giant fish right here. Seamus, look at these squiggly stars. And look at that jellyfish. Look at this weird one in the cage.
are guarded over by towering mammals.
It's a giraffe right here. I'm gonna get eaten by the rabbit. Someone help, I'm gonna get eaten by the rabbit.
Ooh, I hope not.
They're dangerous, they're lions.
Any more dangerous than that walrus back there?
Just escaping being poked by giant tusks, we head to the back of the room where huge display cases covered by thick rubber mats.
Here's a big mosquito. And here's a huge beetle. Oh, look at this dragonfly.
House ancient-looking insects. Ew.
Whoa. Big giant butterfly.
The kids decide to get really fancy and whip out their sketch pads to draw what they've seen before we get back on the bus and head to St. Stephen's Green.
On the 20th of September.
First enclosed as a park in 1664, St. Stephen's Green remains a popular meeting place for Dublin's youth. The park is surrounded by Georgian-style buildings, popular in the 18th century, when the streets around the park were the place to be seen for high society.
Located in the center of Dublin, St. Stephen's Green has been a recreation area for families since the 1800s. When gardens and ponds and a bandstand were added, the kids enjoy feeding ducks.
Go get it.
Wait a minute, those are strange-looking ducks. Ah, make that seagulls. Seagulls and ponds? Now that's something I've never seen.
At the far end of the park, there's a playground where the kids can climb, slide, tumble, and be crazy. Go, Seamus.
You're gonna break it, Dad. Dad's breaking it.
Why is that?
You're too fat.
Oh, okay. Too much Supermax, I guess. More on that little national secret later.
La 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 la.
Is it happy hour yet?
He was captured here marching his men towards Dublin Castle
So it's back on the bus?
in Dublin,
What
where
kind
you
of
can enjoy your pint of Guinness and also
At the Guinness Brewery, we check our strollers, get a token for a free pint, and head into the museum.
Located near the River Liffey, the Guinness Brewery was started by Arthur Guinness in 1759, at which time he leased the land for 9,000 years with an annual rent of only £45. By the mid-1800s, Guinness Brewery was the largest in the world, and today 10 million glasses are served daily around the globe.
Okay, you may not think of a beer factory as a children's activity, but the hands-on museum here is really fun for kids. The entrance to the museum is a modern-looking atrium with glass and steel beams. It was actually constructed in 1904 to resemble a giant pint glass. I guess we're swimming in beer. We learn how hops are harvested, roasted, and mashed to brew the beer. And a giant waterfall plummeting over a story down shows the importance of fresh water in the process. The kids get a chance to chomp on the roasted hops, and a lucky few get to act as brewmaster for the day. At the end of the tour, the kids climb on oak barrels that hold the black stuff, and then we take the glass elevator.
Number 7.
7.
Oh, we're going out of the building!
Up and out! Is this the grown-up version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or what? Sorry, no candy here, kids.
At the top of the Guinness Brewery is the Sky Bar. Surrounded by glass, it offers amazing views of the modern Dublin skyline. Church spires and high-rises poke out between red brick buildings, in green trees and parks. The kids get a hold of the free pint tokens and head to the bar. Sorry kids, not old enough for Guinness yet. Sprites are on the menu for you, but
Guinness for the parents.
I'm glad Mr. Guinness has a 9,000-year lease on this place. I'll definitely be back.
After spending some time relaxing in the Guinness pub, enjoying the views, we're ready to head out again. But first, a stop at the Guinness gift shop, where it seems our boys have had one too many Sprites.
Oh, there you are.
Back on the bus, we race to see if we can still make it to Kilmainham Jail today. But the driver insists on a little sing-along first. Okay, we all know Irish eyes are smiling, but can Irish feet put the pedal to the metal? Let's go!
After learning about the Easter Rising and the struggles for Irish independence, we'd like to visit the historic stronghold that is so much a symbol of those times. And it looks like we made it just in time.
Kilmainham Jail has held some of Ireland's most famous leaders, including Robert Emmet and Eamon de Valera. Rebellions throughout the 19th and 20th century ended with leaders being jailed here. The jail closed in 1924 and is now a main tourist attraction in Dublin.
At Kilmainham Jail, there's an interesting interactive museum that shows what life is like in prison centuries ago, when many Irish nationals were kept here. Behind peepholes and doors, prisoners tell their stories. Signs depict labor and crime charts, and TV screens show how technology has changed the way prisons are run.
After the museum, we enter the jail and get information about its famous prisoners. Most of my ancestors are from Ireland, so being inside this jail with its ghosts of the past and its long and painful history is especially potent for me. I take a moment to soak in the relevance of this place and the long line of events that led to Ireland's leaders being locked up here. And I'm glad the boys take time to listen with me.
After the guide is done, we have time to explore the jail, roaming through hallways, peeking through doors, and closing the cell door behind us
Can you lock it?
to feel what it was like to be inside.
And then can you unlock it?
Well, that all depends on your behavior. This would be a great timeout room. Oh, all right, come on out.
After Kilmainham Jail, we catch the last bus back to the city and decide to find some fast food for dinner, as we're all beat from our long day.
I'm tired and creaky and I want to go back to the hotel. Okay, I'm falling to sleep. I'm poor on the phone. I'm tired and creaky and I want to go back to the hotel.
All right, cut the whining, kids. And Mommy. Look, here's Supermax, the Ireland equivalent of McDonald's, and a pizza place and fish and chip stand all rolled into one.
Yummy.
The food is out in no time, and so are the kids. Looks like the perfect time to hit the pub. I mean, go back to the hotel.
Today, it's back on the double-decker bus to catch a few more sights in Dublin before we head out into the countryside to find the slower-paced life of old Ireland. Our first stop is the Dublin Zoo. On the way to the zoo, we cross some of Phoenix Park. And a tea house just outside the zoo makes the perfect breakfast stop. Nothing like some scones and tea to start the morning.
Here, do you want some tea?
the entrance to the zoo, the kids have already spotted an orangutan.
If you press his belly button, Rachel, take him off and show the boys.
Of the stuffed toy variety, that is.
He laughs when you do it.
And get some tips on what to see inside.
You watch out for the baby orangutan in the zoo now. He's usually wrapped up in the mammy and he's hard to see.
And we head on in.
After meeting the stuffed orangutan backpack out front, the kids are ready to see the real orangutans. So we check the map and head out on our little Dublin safari. The first cage we come to is jaguars.
Here he comes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
cow.
They're gonna be the closest I've ever seen a jaguar in my life.
The kids enjoy watching the jaguar pace back and forth in front of the glass, and it's quite exciting for us too. Watching this huge cat walk within inches of you. You can see all the details. His straw-like whiskers sticking out of his face, his big teeth, his pink tongue as it flicks out to drink some water. It's really amazing. But after some time, the kids remember the orangutans, and we're off again.
It's a snow hour right there. It's like on Harry Potter that Mom loves.
But still, no orangutans. This way is the African plains. I can't imagine an orang in there. But, hey, look over there. The giraffes and zebras are right near the fence.
It's fun because we can see lots of animals and like giraffes and things.
And just across the way, rhinos roam free just yards from the fence.
He's eating grass. It's really big when they're close up, and it's cool to see them. And there's no glass around anything. Some things, but I saw rhinos and hippos and goats.
There's a playground right next to the rhino enclosure, and the kids have fun making local friends. While we sit and watch the rhinos and the kids,
I know what color flamingos really are.
what?
Gray,
Why are they pink?
because they eat the shrimp.
Just past the lemur cage, we find gorillas.
And there's the kid. I'm trying to climb up that whole thing.
It's amazing how human-like the gorillas are.
Well, we gotta be close now. We're in the right family, the apes.
There's a baby right there.
The kids test their hand size with the imprints of the great apes and practice ape talk by making faces and grunting noises from a chart next to the mirror. As we wander farther down the path, we hear a strange noise. Could it be the orangs? No, it's the chimps. And luckily, the kids just had that language lesson because now it's time to put it to use. What's that he's saying? Oh, okay. He wants to know how you're doing. Oh, you're a bit hot, huh? Yeah, he says. Try having all that fur. My dad's kind of hairy. What? Hey, I think he's laughing. Your mom's kind of furry. Don't get mad. It's just a joke. Oh, uh-huh. Oh, sorry. I don't think I can say that on TV.
But hey guys, look over there. It's the orangutans. Oh wait, I can translate that one.
Tell the zookeeper he wants to come in for his dinner.
The orangutans are really cool. Big red hairy blobs of fluff with leathery hands and feet. And hey look, there's a baby. Wow.
After a quick picture by the monkeys,
I'm a monkey.
we're ready to head back to town to see a bit more of Irish culture before calling it a day. We've got to run if we're going to catch that bus. Come on, guys. We missed the bus.
Oh no.
Guess we'll have to find another way into town. Dublin has lots of public transportation options that are cheap and easy to use, and I know just the thing to get us back into the town center, the Dart. Here's the station, and a train arrives in no time.
And cool! A door right in front of it.
The train drops us right down the street from Christ Church Cathedral, and with Ireland's history being so tied into religion, we thought it was time to check out some of these centers of power. Along the way, we passed the Brazenhead pub, the oldest pub in Ireland. I'm not sure which has more power, the church or the pub. Sounds like an Irish riddle.
At Christ Church Cathedral, the kids enjoy playing amongst the ruins of an early 13th century chapter house before we enter the cathedral. Inside the cathedral, the architecture is impressive. Soaring vaulted ceilings and intricately carved stone and woodwork surround us as we head up the main aisle.
When they were working on the church in the mid-19th century, they found a dead cat chasing a dead mouse, and the mummified remains are encased somewhere in the church. So the hunt is on to find them.
There it is.
Seamus, good spot.
Good spot, Seamus. Mummy cat and mouse live.
Across the street from Christ Church Cathedral is Dublinia, a museum about Dublin's medieval town. But the museum is closed for the day, so we decide to head down the street to St. Patrick's Cathedral. Hopefully we can make it there before it closes.
St. Patrick's is one of the earliest Christian sites in Dublin. In fact, St. Patrick is said to have baptized converts in the well here. The earliest known church is said to have stood here in the 6th century, but the current structure was built by the Normans in the 12th century. The use of the church by Oliver Cromwell as a stable for his horses and a collapsed roof all put the church in ruins until the 19th century restoration.
It's closed for the day. Well, we'll just have to enjoy this church from the outside.
Although I'm disappointed not to go inside, the outside is beautiful. I could sit and enjoy this for hours. But the kids are getting hungry and ready to move on, so we're going to head up to Grafton Street, one of Dublin's pedestrian areas. It's packed with shops and restaurants.
On the way to Grafton Street, we find a quiet pub that's a bit off the beaten path, and so offers a more authentic experience. We stop for a Guinness and some Sprites, and it gives us a chance to relax and reflect on our time here in Dublin.
The kids really seem to enjoy the real Irish pub atmosphere. They sip their Sprites, look through their sketchbooks, talk about all the things we've done here in Dublin. Grafton Street really brings home the contrasts we've seen here in Dublin, where it seems the past stands as a quiet tribute while the future flows around it at a breakneck pace. Trinity College holds the Book of Kells while its students check their Blackberries for the latest course openings. Dublin Castle stands tall amongst modern fast food chains and internet cafes. Church steeples and pubs lay quietly on streets, interspersed with coffee houses and nightclubs. Dublin has provided us with great insight into modern Ireland, with a dusting of traditional heritage. But we'd like to learn more about the rich heritage that has made this country so lovable and brought Irish pubs to every corner of the world. So tomorrow, we're going to head to the southwest to explore ancient castles, dance to traditional music, and experience the slower pace of rural Ireland.